Hello there, everyone. I'm here with my Polar Express box again, and I'm excited to see what's inside today. Let's take a look. Woo! That lid's hard to get off. All right, so we started with this. We did our definitions of our words, and then last time we worked on our Polar Express flow map to see what happened in what order. That was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed that with me. Today we have a brand new one. This one is the Polar Express story map. So this is going to be a lot like what we did with our 5-finger retell of our gingerbread kid story, but this time we're going to do it the Polar Express story, and we're going to do it a little bit differently. We won't write it on our hand this time. All right, I'll see you on the other side of this clip. All right, so here I am on the other side of our clip, and I want to show you our I can statement for today. I can use the 5-finger retell to retell the Polar Express. So that's what we're going to be working on today. We are going to be doing our 5-finger retell in a little different way. This leaves out the beginning, middle, and end, the events that were on our ring finger, and I'm going to show you that. So here's our 5-finger retell picture that we used last time. See if we can get it any bigger. So remember, the characters are on the thumb. This is kind of just something to help us remember. It doesn't mean we have to write on it like we did last time. Just having the hand in front of us might help us remember. So we've got the character on the thumb. Then we've got the setting. That's where our story takes place. Then we've got our problem. Then we've got our events, which are the beginning, middle, and end of our story. And then we have the solution, which we said this guy represents solution instead of ending. Okay, so let's take a look over here. We're starting our story with this one right here. This is what this says. Oh, our name is going to go right on top. The Polar Express story map. So we're going to be writing in this area our characters. In this area, we'll be writing our setting. Here, we'll be writing the problem or problems. And here is the solution. All right, so we're going to look through our story to see who the characters are in our story. There are a lot of characters, and so we're probably not going to be able to remember each one or write down each one of them. I don't have enough room on my paper. I don't know, maybe you can write smaller than me, but I would have to do a lot of tiny writing to fit in characters for everything we see. So as we go through this, I want you to shout out when you see a character you think is a main character, an important character because they're in it more than once and they're a big part of the story. I want you to shout out, main character! All right? So we start with this boy. Oh, I heard you. You shouted main character. You're right, because he is in the whole story. So the boy is one of our main characters. Then he met someone outside of this train. What was his name? The conductor, that's right. Oh, I can hear you shouting, main character, because he was in it a lot too. Nice job. So the conductor and the boy are both important. Then we have the children and the people serving them. They are part of our story, but I don't think I'd call them main characters. The wolves, they're part of our story, but they're not in it very much. We didn't learn much about them except that they're lean. All right, we've got mountains and train tracks, and finally we get to the North Pole. Oh, who are these red people here? That's right, there are elves. So the elves, they're part of our story, but they're not a big part. So no, I don't think they're main characters. They're supporting characters. Here they are again. Oh, I hear you right now. You're telling me this guy. What's his name? That's right, Santa. And he is a main character. You're right. Very good, because he is the one who gives the bell the first gift of Christmas, and he's Santa Claus, so he's kind of a big deal. All right. We had the reindeer. They weren't in it very much. We didn't learn a lot about them. Then we had the boy and the children. They were kind to him, but in this book, unlike in the movie, we don't learn a lot about the characters that are the friends. So in this story, the children aren't a big part. Then there's the boy waving goodbye to his friends and to the train. And then we have his sister, Sarah. We actually learned her name, so she's a little bit more of an important character, but she's only in the story, I think maybe this page and the next page. So probably not a main character. And then we have our Belle, which is not a person, but it's a pretty cool part of our story. Okay, so we're looking at our characters. So the first one we saw was the boy. I'm going to write the boy. We also said that there was that guy that was part of helping with the train called the conductor. Let's write that down. Conductor. Then we had the guy wearing red in the North Pole. His name was, that's right, Santa. Then we had, we said we didn't think the children were a main part. But you know what? We could just say children, since we didn't get to know them very well. We could put children in there, but they're not a big part. Oh, sorry, child. Ooh, I didn't spell it right. Child for child. Children. Then we said Sarah, who's not a big part either, but we have room, so I'm going to write her name. And Sarah. There we go. So now we've got our characters. All right, now we're moving on to our setting. Remember, that's where the story takes place. Part of the story is at the boy's house, outside and inside the house. Part of the story is inside the train called the Polar Express. Part of the story, they're going through the wilderness. Part of the story, they've come to their destination, which is the North Pole. Then they're at the North Pole for a little while, not for very long, just a few pages, and then they get back on the Polar Express to go home. And then he goes home, and that part of the story and the very end of the story is at home. All right, so our setting is actually a few different places. We started our story, where was the boy? At the boy's house. So I'm going to write boy's house. Then, what was another place in our story? Yep, the Polar Express train. So on the train. Okay, on the train. We spell train A-I-N. The A sound sometimes is made by A-I. And when two vowels are walking, the first one does the talking. That's this guy. The A says his own name. Train. All right. So they were at his house, on the train, and there's one other place that was part of our setting. That's right. Where does Santa live? That's right. The North Pole. So then you're going to write the North Pole. P-O-O-E. And we're about to learn those bossy E's make the vowel in the middle say its own name. Pole. And the E is silent. Okay, so the boy's house, the train, and the North Pole are all part of the setting. We're going to go on to the problem, and this time I'm going to write part of it, but I'm going to let you do the majority of the writing on your end. Our problem in our story. What was the problem? What happened in our story that needed a fixing, that needed help to get it all worked out? You know what's interesting? People don't like problems, but if you've ever noticed a story, all good stories do have problems in them because we need something for the story to be about. If a person just walks down the street and nothing happens, it's kind of boring. But if they're like Pete the cat and they keep stepping in different things and changing the colors of their shoes, that's pretty cool. That actually is a problem, that he keeps getting different colored shoes. So every story that's interesting needs a problem. What happened in our story? that was a problem. Something that didn't go quite right. Yep, it does have to do with the boy. What happened to the boy in our story? I remember a time when his face looked very sad and all his friends were trying to cheer him up. That's right, he lost his bell. So the boy lost his bell would be a problem. There could be more than one problem in a story. Sometimes there are going to be more than one. Maybe part of the problem would be that the boy had a friend who didn't believe in Santa and he was trying to decide if he believed in Santa or not. That could be part of the problem. So I'm going to have you write the problem. This time I'm just going to do something. I want to show you that if you're having a hard time with writing all these words, you can draw pictures. So you could choose to draw, I think this is kind of what our bell looked like. It had a lid, it was a circle, and I think it had a tie through it. So part of the problem was the bell, and it came out of the pocket, right? So his pocket had a hole in it, and the bell fell out. So you could draw what you want to tell me the problem was, or you could write it. Either one will be acceptable, but I want to challenge you this. The more we do challenging, difficult things, the more we learn. So please be sure that you're not just trying to do it the fastest, easiest way so you can be done and go play your video games or whatever it is you want to do. Please do your best. So I want you to write as much as you can, but when you get to a point where you need a little break or you're getting a little frustrated or it's extra hard, you can do some drawing pictures, okay? So we had a problem. He lost his bell. So we could also write that with words. And remember, you can list other problems here also. And then we're going to put down what the solution was to the problem. So whatever problems we put over here, we're going to have to write a solution on this side. So there was a problem that he lost his bell out of his pocket. What was the solution? How did that get fixed? All right, so we're just using our 5-finger retell to help us. So we know our thumb is the character, our setting is a pointer finger, our problem is the next finger, and we've got all those on here. We're skipping the events, the beginning, middle, and end, because there's not a place to write that. And then we're going to put the solution. That's our pinky finger, the solution. So let's see, how does this get fixed? So it fell out of his pocket. Who helped him get it back? That's right, Santa helped him get it back. So I'm going to ask you to do this. I want you to be thinking, how can you tell me about how the problem got solved? How can you tell me about the solution? You can use your words or you can draw me a picture, but our solution would be someone helped him. Who helped him? Santa helped him. And then I want you to write the rest. What did Santa do? Did Santa bring his bell back or send his bell back to him? Did Santa give him a present with a bell inside? Did Santa find his bell? What did Santa do? And I want you to figure out from listening to the story what the solution is. I'm only going to write Santa and you are going to write the rest. And you can draw a picture of it if you need to. All right, my friends, as soon as you finish that, go ahead and take a picture of it with your seesaw and your iPad and send it to your teacher. You guys are doing great work here. I'm sure proud of you.